Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Tattooed Relic, featuring me, the random guy on the internet that you don't know but should absolutely keep watching. Today, we're going to be running down my list of my top 20 favorite actresses. This is a companion piece to a separate video that I did a couple of days ago covering my top 20 favorite actors. And I'll put a link to that in the description below. I encourage you to check it out if you haven't seen it. And before we get into this, I just want to remind you guys this is a brand new channel for me. I'm counting on you to help me grow the channel. So please, if you like what you see here, you want to see more content, take a minute and like, subscribe, and by all means share this video. And get more eyeballs on it, get word of mouth going. That's the quickest way this channel is going to grow. Going forward, there's more of an explanation in my actors video. I'm going to do a simplified version of that here, but very simply, here was my criteria for this list. It is not a best actress list by any means. If it were, then a lot of you would probably be questioning my sanity after watching this video because of some of the names that are on here. This is simply a list of actresses who I pretty much love in anything they're in, even if it's an otherwise project that I wouldn't even be inclined to watch. So that's how people arrived on this list. There are varying degrees of talent on the list, but I just find these people entertaining. So let's jump right into it. I will tell you two things up front. Number one, when I was a little kid, anytime I visited my grandmother, she showed me classic films from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and I fell in love with that era of cinema. I discovered some amazing films that way. The reason I mention this is because you will see names on this list, particularly this one, even more so than my actor list. You're going to see names of people that are by no means contemporary actors now. Some of them aren't even alive anymore. But their body of work is just incredible. The other thing I'll tell you is this is not genre specific. It's not a horror movie list or anything like that. This is all over the map. In fact, a lot of the people on this list primarily are known for being in romantic comedies, which, you know, I can kind of take them or leave them. But thanks to an ex of mine, I've seen countless romantic comedies, and a lot of them I did enjoy. So anyway, that's a little bit of just preliminary background on how I arrived at this list and what you can expect going forward. My actor list ran really long. I don't want this one to be the same way, so I'm going to jump right into it. Coming in at number 20, Marilyn Monroe. For one thing, she's Marilyn Monroe. What are you going to do? I've been a fan of hers all my life because of the way she looks, obviously. But I also honestly think she's underrated as an actress. I think her comedic timing was great. She also had a little bit of a dark turn in a couple of her movies. I mean, she's not Oscar worthy or anything, but I think she's highly underrated. She gets dismissed as a dumb blonde and everything because of the way that she was marketed. But if you check out some of her films, especially some of the lesser known ones, I think you might be surprised. And what I'm going to do with each one of these people is, like I did in my other video, is I'm just going to highlight some films. I encourage you to check them out. With Marilyn, you got All About Eve. That was an early role for her. It's a small role. But she was good in the movie. Same thing with The Asphalt Jungle. Don't Bother to Knock is a very good movie. Some Like It Hot is really good. That's a funny movie. You've got obviously big name actors in the movie, Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis. That's a hilarious movie. And it's very well written. I actually have a copy of the original script to that movie, and the original script is even better than what appeared on screen. Some of the stuff in there, I don't know why they cut, but it is what it is. The last film that she ever actually completed was The Misfits. That was also Clark Gable's last film. That was a really good movie. And again, any of these movies, I encourage you to check them out. Monkey Business was funny. Cary Grant is one of my favorite actors. So, teaming her up with Cary Grant, it's kind of a no-brainer. That was a funny movie. The 7-Year Itch, Niagara, The Prince and the Showgirl, Let's Make Love. Stuff like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and How to Marry a Millionaire, they're okay, but I tend to lean toward her lesser known movies. Because in particularly the two films that I just mentioned, she was kind of a caricature of her Hollywood persona at that point. But anyway, worth checking out. Moving on. 19, I kind of cheated here. It's a tie between Louise Fletcher and Piper Laurie. Between the two of them, you got Firestarter, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Flowers in the Attic. The Hustler, Carrie, Ain't Misbehaving. And then in the case of Piper Laurie, you've got Twin Peaks, which, at least for the first 2 seasons of that show's original run, back in 89, 90, one of those 2 years, that was a brilliant show. And if you haven't seen that, I certainly would encourage you to check that out. Moving on, we got at 18, Marisa Tomei. Marisa Tomei, there's actually not a lot of stuff in her catalog that I like, but the things that I do like, I think are great. Of course, you got My Cousin Vinny. The Rewrite. When I looked her up, I saw The Rewrite in her filmography. I don't specifically remember that movie, but I seem to remember that I liked it. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, The Watcher, Only You. She's adorable, and her screen presence is incredible. I can pretty much watch her in anything, but I don't watch a lot of her movies because she tends to go in the direction of romantic comedy. And, if I'm sitting around by myself, that's not the kind of movie I'm going to watch. Coming in at 17, Anne Hathaway. Something about Anne Hathaway just, I don't know, she just draws me in. The Get Smart movies, particularly the first one, I thought that was awesome. Um, the Devil Wears Prada, I thought was good. I thought she was very good in that. Um, and then you got Bride Wars and The Intern, and then a weird sort of psychological thriller that I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but it's certainly worth a watch. Um, the Passengers. I kind of enjoyed that, and if she weren't in it, I probably would have never watched it. Coming in at 16, we got Winona Ryder. This is another one that I think she's great on screen. I think she's very charismatic in front of the camera. Um, Heathers is, as far as comedies goes, that's one of my favorite movies of all times. Um, Mr. Deeds, I thought she was really good in that. And of course, when she was a kid, Beetlejuice, you got that, which Beetlejuice isn't among my favorites, but it certainly is a good movie. Um, Reality Bites, Edward Scissorhands. Um, I don't know. She has an ability to draw me in and get me interested in whatever I'm watching that she's in. I don't tend to watch a lot of her movies, but typically if I do, I at least walk away saying, well, you know, if for no other reason Winona Ryder was in it, I don't feel like I wasted my time here. Coming in at 15, Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore she's weird. She's adorable and kind of hot at the same time. Obviously, once she got older. In E.T., she was an adorable little girl. Same thing with Firestarter. Then later in her career, we got Fever Pitch, 50 First Dates. That was actually pretty funny. Of course, her appearance in Scream is iconic. Charlie's Angels. I think most of those movies suck, but the first one I thought was okay, and I think she was really good in that. And she's also demonstrated the fact that she has skills as a director, so I respect that. Coming in at 14, we got Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston. She isn't the best actress in the world, but she has so much likability in front of the camera that I can pretty much watch her in anything and enjoy it. Highlights for me would, of course, be Horrible Bosses, especially the first one. Murder Mystery that she did with Adam Sandler. I thought that was funny. I think the movie got trashed by critics, and I don't think it did well at the box office, but I enjoyed it. The Good Girl, Picture Perfect, Office Space. And if you don't like Office Space, there's something wrong with you. Office Christmas Party. I thought she was hilarious in that, just going against type. And just playing this total hard ass. She did a little bit of that in Horrible Bosses, but she was also a sex maniac in those movies, which made it comedic. You've also got The Breakup. I thought that was a cool movie for a rom-com. Coming in at 13, Merle Oberon. Beautiful actress, physically. That's honestly what initially drew me to her. When I first saw her on screen, I was a kid. I don't remember what movie I first saw her in. But I just thought she was gorgeous. And she's also a very good actress. Highlights there would be The Divorce of Lady X, The Scarlet Pimpernel, Over the Moon, Wuthering Heights, which is a hell of a intense watch. If my ex had not made me watch that, I never would have watched it, even with Merle Oberon being in it. But she was good in it. We've also, for her, we've got The Lodger and Temptation. But her filmography goes on and on and on. So if you check out any of the movies that I mentioned and you're impressed with her, go to Wiki or whatever and check out her filmography and just pick movies at random and watch them, and you'll probably like them because of her. Coming in at 12, we got Angelina Jolie. I think Angelina Jolie is very underrated as an actress because most people just talk about her looks. Because, you know, I mean, she's like, especially when she was younger, her looks are almost unfair. I mean, women used to hate her because she just seemed so perfect physically. I also like her as an actress, especially in dramatic roles, or sort of action comedy type things. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I thought that was a great movie. I thought Salt was awesome. I loved that movie. Taking Lives was good. She was good in Pushing 10 with her. I don't know if they were married at the time, but it was, you know, also starring her ex, Billy Bob Thornton. She was good in The Bone Collector, Without Evidence, and I think the first time that I ever saw her was a movie that she did with Gary Sinise. I think it was an HBO movie or a Showtime movie or something. Or it might have even been a made-for-TV movie, but it was excellent. It was a historical, biographical movie about George Wallace, the governor of Alabama, back during the Civil Rights Movement. She was extremely good in that. Anyway, moving on, coming in at 11, we got Veronica Lake. Veronica Lake is another one. Hey, I'm a guy. A lot of the women that are showing up on this list are on here because of the way they look. But I'm not so shallow as to put them on the list strictly because of that. I also have to enjoy them on screen. With Veronica Lake, you got Sullivan's Travels, The Glass Key, which is a terrific film adaptation of a Dashiell Hammett book. This Gun for Hire, The Blue Dahlia, I Married a Witch, that's hilarious. Stronghold, I don't specifically remember that movie, but I do know that I liked it. And she's another one where she did a million films in her career. So if you watch any of the ones I mentioned and you're impressed, look her up. And like I said, just pick films at random and watch them. And chances are you'll enjoy them. Moving on from there, we got Jamie Lee Curtis. She mainly made the list because she starred in two of my favorite movies of all time. That would be Halloween and A Fish Called Wanda. But she has great acting chops. And when she was young, she was beautiful. Trading Places, I think that's the movie where we got to see her topless. So, hey, there you go. That's worth the price of admission right there. Um, Prom Night, Terror Train, Blue Steel. I thought she was good in that. It was, kind of a hit or miss sort of movie. It certainly wasn't an Oscar-worthy type movie or anything, but I thought she did a good job on that, and I thought the storytelling was okay in that. True Lies, I think she was good in. The Fog. You Again, I actually enjoyed. I thought that was pretty funny. And then Road Games with, if I remember correctly, Stacy Keach. That was a very good movie. It was if I'm not mistaken, that was a made-for-TV movie. But it's definitely worth a watch. It's a sort of an action thriller, I guess you would call it. It definitely shows its age. That was one of her first projects, but it's good. It's interesting. The story in it is very good. Coming in at 9, we got Jean Crane. Jean Crane is an awesome old school Hollywood actress. What can I say? I mean, she's got tremendous screen presence. She has great chemistry with the guys that she usually teams up with in movies. Highlights of hers would be Meet Me in St. Louis, You Were Meant for Me, Cheaper by the Dozen, People Will Talk, State Fair, which I think kind of flew under the radar, if I'm not mistaken, but that was a really good movie. A Letter to Three Wives, that was really good. Coming in at 8, we got Claudette Colbert. It Happened One Night. One of the greatest movies ever. I think to this day, that is the only movie to sweep the Oscars. Won every single major award. Imitation of Life. That was a fantastic movie. She married her boss. That was funny as hell. The Palm Beach Story. That was a great movie. Let's Make It Legal. The Bride Comes Home. It goes on and on and on. Most of her stuff is romantic comedies. But she did do some pretty dramatic roles, like Imitation of Life. There's some pretty intense stuff in that movie, and there are parts of that movie that are really sad. But it is a fantastic movie. Coming in at 7, we got Ann Sheridan. Ann Sheridan, another old school actress. One of the most physically beautiful actresses, I think, ever walked the earth. But she was also an extremely talented actress. Highlights of hers would be They Drive by Night. George Washington Slept Here. Black Legion. They Made Me a Criminal. Nora Prentice. King's Row. All great movies. You pretty much can't go wrong with an Ann Sheridan movie. No matter how stupid the movie is, if you watch it, I think you'll walk away from it thinking, okay, if nothing else, that was worth my time because of her presence in the movie. Coming in at 6, we got Doris Day. Are you sensing a theme here? I think these old school actresses blow away the current crop in Hollywood. What can you say about Doris Day? I mean, I honestly can't think of a single movie that I ever watched with her in it that I thought was stupid, and I walked away going, what the hell did I watch that for? Highlights would be The Man Who Knew Too Much, Pillow Talk. That's Pillow Talk is probably one of the first things I saw her in. That was one of the movies my grandmother showed me when I was a little kid, and it was awesome. Send Me No Flowers, Please Don't Eat the Daisies, Lover Come Back, Teacher's Pet, With Six You Get Egg Roll. Doris Day is one that you can sit down and watch these movies with your kids. Because her movies are very wholesome, very family friendly, and all of that. And she's extremely entertaining on screen. I can't say enough about her. Moving on from there, coming in at number 5, we got Myrna Loy. Myrna Loy, of course, is probably best well known for the Thin Men movies. Fantastic series. Myrna Loy and William Powell. Manhattan Melodrama. Evelyn Prentice. Wife vs. Secretary. The Rains Came, which is very good. She was in The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer. Cheaper by the Dozen. Mr. Blandings Builds His Dream House. That was a hilarious movie. And then a more dramatic movie would be The Best Years of Our Lives. That was a fantastic movie. Coming in at 4, we got Bette Davis. Bette Davis is just phenomenal. She's another one where I can't think of a single movie I ever saw with her in it that I didn't at least consider worth my time by the time it was over. I'm a big horror movie guy, so of course I love Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. But then you got things like The Petrified Forest, which, if I remember correctly, I think that was her first major film role. You got The Letter, 3 on a Match, Dead Ringer, A Stolen Life, The Watch on the Rhine, which was a great movie, Dark Victory. And then in a very, very long, dramatic movie, but very good, if you have the patience to watch it, is All This in Heaven 2. That is an extremely good movie. Coming in at number 3, we got Meryl Streep. I mean, what are you going to say? Meryl Streep is almost a one-of-a-kind talent. I'm not really a fan of hers personally, but there's no denying her talent, and I'm more a fan of her older movies before she started shooting her mouth off about politics and all that sort of thing. Highlights would be Sophie's Choice, Kramer versus Kramer, She-Devil, The River Wild. I thought was okay. I mean, it wasn't a fantastic movie, but I think she did a great job in that. Death Becomes Her. I enjoyed that. I thought that movie was funny. Of course, Silkwood, which is legendary, and Heartburn. And if I didn't mention it, The Devil Wears Prada. That has her and Anne Hathaway. I enjoy both of them, so I got a kick out of that movie. Quickly, coming in at number 2, we got Rosalind Russell. Rosalind Russell was an acting genius. Some of my favorite movies of all time, not just from that particular era, but some of my all-time favorite movies have her in them. His Girl Friday, Evelyn Prentice, The Velvet Touch, Rendezvous, No Time for Comedy, The Women was very good. Gypsy was very good. My Sister Eileen, They Met in Bombay. I can't tell you how many times I've seen all of those movies, and I would be perfectly fine with sitting down tonight and watching any one of them at random again, and I would enjoy it just as much as I did the first time. Just a unbelievable actress. And closing out the list, and of course, the same applies to her, that would be Katherine Hepburn. Her energy and everything else in her earlier movies is just phenomenal. And her screen presence. Among my favorites of hers would be the Philadelphia Story, Bringing Up Baby, Adam's Rib. Pretty much all the movies she did with either Cary Grant or Spencer Tracy are phenomenal. Stage Door was awesome. The Iron Petticoat, Alice Adams, Summertime, The African Queen, and of course, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? I mean, you know, Hepburn is another one where you can't go wrong with, you know, you could put her movies on a dartboard and throw a dart at it and watch whatever movie the dart lands on, and you're probably going to enjoy it. I mean, even something like On Golden Pond, which I've only seen once, and that, you know, that's not really my kind of movie, but she was fantastic in everything that I ever saw her in. And that's going to wrap things up, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you disagree with my list, or, you know, if you have a list that you think is better, leave that in the comments. And once again, if you like what you see here, you want to see more, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And with that, I will wish you a happy 4th of July. And have a good rest of your weekend. Cheers.